It was picked up on pregnancy scans, 20-week pregnancy scan, that there was a slight anomaly with his leg length. They couldn't tell. We had regular growth scans all the way through the pregnancy, but they could never tell until he was born exactly what the condition was. Turned out it was worst case scenario. He had fibular hemimelia, which meant he was born without a fibula bone. And as part of that condition, the tibia grows shorter than in the other leg. So he had his foot amputated at 11 months, foot and ankle. And he was fitted with a prosthetic by Steve at Portsmouth, and took his first steps when he was 14 months. The first one, obviously Carter wasn't old enough to have a say on it, and me and Steve, the prosthetist, are both Villa fans. So I gave him some old Villa shorts and a badge. He made a Villa leg, and that was that. His second leg, he had Thomas the Tank Engine, because then he had a bit of say in stuff. When he was due his third leg, it was about a month before we got relegated, and I was actually trying to convince him to have James or Percy or another engine on his leg, but he was adamant he wanted a Villa leg. So he chose it, and who am I to stand in his way? So
this leg first. This leg was three, and this one was 3 and 4. This one I was 5.
So I saw Carter not long after I started here. He was my youngest patient at the time. I think he was 12, 13 months at the time. And I've seen Carter ever since. I've made all Carter's legs for him, from his first ever prosthesis up until the one we're going to make him now. So essentially the blade works in 2 ways. It gives energy return so that when he's running, he's able to get as much back from the prosthetic side as his sound side, or nearly. It also takes a lot of shock absorption, because running, there's a lot of impact that goes through the skeleton when you're running. The blade compresses and allows just to be a lot softer when you're running. He's been the easiest patient to work with. He has actually been a dream. He's always been smiley, running around the centre. Yeah, it's been great. And he's just grown in confidence, which is obviously why we're here today, because of his taekwondo.
I'm second generation. My dad is originally from Birmingham, so he's Aston Villa. To be fair, I got lucky because, I mean, I was born 74. So by the time I was 8, we was just winning the league, winning the European Cup, and while all my friends' heads were being turned by Liverpool, Man United, and what have you, I just stuck with the Villa.
I went with some mates to Villa Park, stood in the Old End. We beat Liverpool 1-0. And I was stood in the Old End as Villa scored right in front of us, and that's it. As the crowd rushes forward, because we were still standing back then, that was it from that day. I've got a picture of Carter in his Villa leg with Jack Grealish above my desk. It's the best thing ever.
So I put a picture of him on Twitter, sunbathing, with his Villa leg on, just in the hope that a couple of people would see it and like it. Then if ever he got down, I could say, look, these people that we don't even know think your leg is great. So I put it on there. Jack saw it, Tony Jarr saw it, they commented on it, let's make him a mascot, and it just escalated from there. I mean, the fans, people I've never met, you know, sending us messages or gifts or contacting the club and doing all sorts for us. So it's very heartwarming. The supporting our own campaign that Aston Villa are currently running just can't do enough for us. They've been great.
So Carter's joined us at Bodymore Heath today. He's had a press conference this morning with Steve Bruce, so he's been in the limelight and he's been absolutely loving it, which is great.
Got a visitor, tell us about him.
He's the top man. He's my new assistant manager for the day today. Favourite player's Grealish, of course. That's why he's got a haircut like that, like Grealish's. But he's going to come and give us a hand today.
And any score predictions from him ahead of Millwall?
Any score predictions? What do you think the score will be?
2-1.
2-1? That sounds good.
Great stuff. You take that.
We'll take that.
He's met his favourite player, Jack Grealish. Jack gave him a pair of signed boots, which he loved. He's also just gone on a tour, and he's also going to be watching a little bit of training today. So we're really proud that we've been able to offer Carter a really special experience today.
Hello. Hello, Carter. You okay? How are you? Got a little present here for you. Look, I wore them when I played for England because I got the England thing, the England badge on. That's big, isn't it? I like this one. I've never had a medal that big.
Give a kick.
Yeah, go on then. Oh. I wouldn't want that done on me, you'd injure me. Okay. Right, I'll see you outside, alright?
So supporting our own is Aston Villa's corporate social responsibility strategy. The MVP is about recognising people and then giving them a special experience that's all about Villa, that they wouldn't ordinarily be able to have. We want to be able to recognise people like Carter. So from January, we will be actively looking for nominations of deserving people in the local community. That could be someone who's maybe overcome a lot of obstacles. It could be someone courageous like Carter, or it could be someone who's made a real difference in the community. For example, they're a brilliant role model, so they volunteer, they could be a youth worker, they could be a charity fundraiser. So there's a real wide scope there. It's a real opportunity for us to recognise the local community and give something back.